This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The NFL is looking at multiple scenarios for the draft. Now, you look at this whole situation because the NFL now is. Remember, we talked about it yesterday at the Saints have a sports bar that they're going to go to that Gail Benson, the owner of the Saints, she owns that bar. So I don't know if they're going to be approved for that. It doesn't seem like it because now with the whole COVID-19 thing, the NFL on Thursday provided guidelines to all the teams on draft day. All right. And it says the league issued a memo obtained by Tom Pelissero and informs all the clubs considering that for the draft, the first option is for clubs to operate out of their facilities. Now, that may be a problem because some cities may not allow you to work at your facility. That's one. And you're not going to get written permission to draft football players to get it open. Government officials aren't going to give you a break for that because that would make them look like idiots. It's subject to mandatory health and safety guidelines issued by Dr. Alan Sills, which will include limitations on the number permitted club personnel at the facility and rigorous cleaning requirements. The second option is for the teams to operate completely remotely in personal residences with a clear prohibition of any number of clubs' personnel gathering in one residence. So that's probably how it's going to be. There'll be a couple guys in different houses. They'll be whatever apart. They'll be on film. The league will be able to see it, all that kind of stuff. And then they'll probably send in their pick, and then somebody for the NFL will do the pick like they normally do the commissioner, and that's it. You won't see who's making the pick behind the scenes from each team. That's my prediction. They'll send it in one way or another because I'm sure they're going to have multiple avenues to send it in. Audio, video, text, whatever. So that way it gets through for sure. And then they'll have that one person for the league that is receiving the information and passing it on to an NFL official who will then be in front of some camera, which I would imagine is the commissioner, and announcing the pick. That's it. That's what's going to end up happening. It's not that big a deal. We're kind of making it out to be a bigger deal than what it normally is. It for them personally, is it a little better to be in person, see people face to face, and have these conversations? Of course. But the thing is, they've already had these conversations. They've already planned out the draft. They've already said, this is our first corner, this is our second best corner, this is our third best corner, and this is our 70th best corner. And they did that with the quarterbacks, and they did that with the left tackles, and the right tackles, and the swing tackles, and the center, and the guards, and the center/guards. Whatever. They've done all those combinations already. Those conversations have been had. Those rankings have been made. Now, is there a heated moment because two guys might be kind of the same and one position coach is fighting for one player and another position coach is fighting for another player, and they're both, positions of need, but now the GM has to make a decision which one should he pick over the other, that kind of crap? Of course. That's going to happen. But you're going to have them on a teleconference. So they're going to be able to, all right, hey, what do you think? You got 10 minutes. So one coach, will spew his thing in 45 seconds. Then he'll go to the other position coach and say, what do you think? He'll talk for 45 seconds. And then the GM will say, okay. And then he'll look for a trade or look for a trade up or down to see if there's anything. If not, he'll take the player that he thinks out of it. That's it. It's not the end of the world. Let's not make this sound. We make this sound like this is something. You know what's crippling? You being out of work. You not being able to pay your rent, your mortgage. You not being able to make your car payment. You, if you don't have any money for food for your kids on the table. That's crippling. If these guys got to work from home and that's the biggest hurdle, oh, give me a break. It's easy to overcome. Look, if we were in 1950, That's a whole different ball game. Communicating in those days, it's different. Now, come on, man. We got audio, we got video, we got phones, we got every which way to communicate. So that's not a problem. Everybody will be fine. Everybody will get their picks in, all of that. I already told you, the challenge is not how they have their draft rooms, whether they do it at the building or they do it at their homes. None of that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? The challenge is going to be, how good are your scouts? What kind of thorough work did they do? Were they thorough in their work is what I should have said. How much information did they gather about all these players? And the coaching staffs and the scouting staffs that were well prepared before this pandemic are the ones that are going to do the best on those days. And that's why I keep telling you, I get it. You know, for 20 years, people were like, well, why are you so negative? Why are you always picking up? Well, because they suck and they don't come through, right? And that's kind of what it was for 20 years. And now you're going to wonder, well, why the hell is he so positive about it? Well, because I kind of see that there's a boatload of scouts at heart. We don't have – see, this is the beauty of the Dolphins now. There isn't this bickering going on between the general manager and the head coach for power, and then there's some woman in the way, and she's trying to meddle in, and then you've got Mike Tannenbaum who wants to act like a football guy but isn't a football guy. He's an accountant. That's all gone. It's all gone.
You don't have coaches doing cocaine?
No, you're right. There's no coaches doing cocaine. None of that, bro. Nothing. Okay? We don't have any of that. We have a pure football guy in Chris Greer running the operations. A guy that grew up in this business, that his dad was a personnel director. Okay? His dad had a hand in drafting Brady, by the way. And his brother was an exceptional player in the NHL. We're talking about a professional family. We're talking about a guy that's a hardcore football guy. So when he sees all the crap that's gone on with the Dolphins and they finally give him the keys to the kingdom, what does he do? He goes and hires a head coach that's also got scouting in his background. And then he goes and he says, well, wait a minute, these guys are great personnel guys and they're great scouts. And they're available. The Raiders are going to fire Reggie McKenzie. You mean the guy that drafted Khalil Mack? You mean the guy that got you Derek Carr? You mean the guy that got you to the playoffs and turned it around when in his first 2 years, he didn't have a first and second round pick? That Reggie McKenzie? Yeah, I'm going to bring him over. And Marvin Allen's available? You mean he helped Atlanta get a bunch of talent and Kansas City? Yeah, let me bring him over. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what, because I've been following personnel for a while. Those of you that have followed this show, you know we've been going to all these places for over 20 years, and I've gotten to know a lot of personnel people. And Reggie McKenzie is a badass, and Marvin Allen is a badass, and Chris Greer knows what the hell he's doing. And that's why I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you're at. I don't care if you're at the facility or you're at home. How good are your scouts? How thorough are your scouts? Are your scouts going to find Preston Williams undrafted? Miami's did. That's what I'm talking about. Are your scouts finding Nick Needham off the scrap heap? Miami's did. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They look at their linebacker and they say, okay, this guy's undisciplined. He really can't cover. He ad-libs all the time and doesn't ad-lib really good. He's no Junior Seau ad-libbing. Let's trade his ass and let's bring in Vince Beagle because Vince Beagle's being underused there, but we can use him in a certain way here. Their scouts aren't doing it, but Miami's is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You see the examples are there already. Eric Rowe. They figure out Eric Rowe can't play corner, but Eric Rowe can cover the hell out of a tight end. Your scouts ain't figuring it out. but Miami's are. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So don't worry about where the hell the draft's being held. If it's being held in somebody's bathroom, if it's being held at a facility or people's homes, I don't give a rat's ass. None of that matters. They can communicate in a world of communication. We're good. Okay? Zoom, IG, phones, texts, Skype, whatever. There's many ways to contact each other. Okay? Not worried about that. I'm worried about who's got the better scouts, who's got the better information, who's going to unearth talent. That's what I want to know. I want to know, how prepared are you? And I think our guys are going to be better prepared than most. Okay? So when I saw that story and I see people talking about this silliness, I don't give a rat's ass about that. I know that the Dolphins are going to have an advantage over most because their heart and soul are people that love to scout talent. Okay? Your team is no longer led by a guy that's an accountant acting like a football guy in Mike Tannenbaum. The guy that a friend of mine, once getting on a plane, walking through the aisle, looks to one side and sees Mike Tannenbaum sitting in an airplane seat with a draft magazine in his hand.